Well, as I said in an earlier video, as the day's gone on and I become involved in this, my anxiety levels, sadness levels really, people will call it anxiety. I wasn't anxious about things, but I was not in a very good mood. I was in a very upset mood, but I'm in a much better mood now. Things have taken my mind off the current situation. I spoke with my auntie today. I haven't spoken to her for a little while. She rang to ask about how Linda, my older sister, is. We had a good chat. Miff contacted me, asked how I was, and how nice is that? How nice is that? And he's reminded me that I give him advice that he listened to. It's a strange thing sometimes because you don't know whether people are actually going to take the advice, whether if they don't say anything, they say, wow, that's amazing, I'll do it. But obviously it meant a lot to him and he put it into practice. Sorry about the there. And basically it is when you come out of a relationship and someone's ended it with you, no contact, and you erase all evidence of them so you're not tempted to call them, text them, message them. You don't sit and look at pictures and videos of them. You don't have to rip them up. Just put them away so you don't see them. If they're online, you put them in a separate folder away from everything else. Download them, zip file them, whatever. I use Google Photos and they will come up. They will come up occasionally. Remember this day 1 year ago? I know they will. And potentially very soon I'll be able to look at them very dispassionately. So, yeah, they were good times, as I can with every ex who's broken my heart. I sit here and I laugh about it because that's who I am. That's how I overcome these things, but I haven't really felt like laughing too much. So Miff's called me. There's another guy, Richard Rant, and he very recently put this post on Facebook and he looked buff and he was just saying, Mark, this is me, Mark 2, and he'd meditation, CrossFit and diet. He'd lost something like 3 stone. Tall guy, quite fit, good shape. I would have said. I haven't seen him for a few years. I messaged him, asked him how he was doing it, and he come back to me and told me that it was when his wife or girlfriend left him for whatever reason. He took it very hard, went off the rails, went down the drugs route. Now, obviously, at some point, he's realised this is no good. I haven't spoken to him in depth about it, whether it was when he got over her or he was still going through it, because I know at some point, when I've had it in the past, 25 years ago, whenever it was, you sort of get to that point where you know you've got to do something. You've had enough. This is it. This is the tipping point. This is the last straw. And you do. You pick yourself up from the floor, from wherever you are, and you start rebuilding. You start rebuilding with a purpose. So it's good interaction with him. And someone who's been through it or going through it, they're very, very understanding and give you good advice. Another great source of inspiration and comfort is an old school friend, Anne West. And I know that of all the people I know personally, a very, very, very difficult, awful, tragic upbringing. I won't go into detail, but if you hear her story, it could be a book, it could be a film, really. It is. But someone overcoming adversity. And very recently, couple of years ago. She was on Facebook and she'd met this most wonderful man. They did this and did that, and I was so happy for her, because past marital relationship life wasn't particularly good. I know she had some marvellous children from it, but suddenly, yeah, we're going to be moving in, it was all over. She had an outpouring on Facebook, as many people do, and there's nothing wrong with it, because it is a bit cathartic. As I'm doing this, it's cathartic. You're not actually saying it to a room full of people, but in your mind you're letting it off, and you're letting the world know your feelings, and it does dissipate. So yeah, and according to her Facebook, it was just about to move in. I think it was however long they'd been together. He told her that he didn't really love her, and possibly never had. Well, devastation, absolute devastation. A man who you thought loved you, you'd spent time with, and this was going to be your new beginning, it was going to be the stuff dreams are made of. To be told that, to have given up the place you live, to have that, and I felt so sorry for her. I didn't contact her. Maybe I should have done, maybe not. There was reasons why I didn't. Now, very recently I noticed that she'd started posting again, and her profile picture included this guy. They were back together, and I thought, wow, that is marvellous. So I messaged her, talked about that, and told her my situation, and she came back with this beautiful message to me. I won't read it, but it hit home, it resonated, and she gave me such good sound advice. It's advice I knew from 20-25 years ago when I went through this. But actually no, it was a different one, and I read up on it. How to get over a broken heart, you know, your relationship ends, how to act, how to get people back. And the advice she gave me was plain, it was simple, but it brought everything back that I knew, and it was right. It was dead right. On top of that, another old friend, Ian, he's now gone authoring full time. Absolutely lovely chap, likes to drink. Very clever, he's now living in the Isle of Man. He's wrote books, he's very into spirituality and the pyramids and mythology, subjects like that, and he's writing books. And again, there's a guy there who has suffered enormously with some bad relationships, but again, I contacted him, he'll say he'll call me, and then out of the blue, an old friend, an old next door neighbour actually, I don't know what I'd said anywhere, but she messaged me and said, Steve, I have a feeling you're suffering with anxiety and depression. I am at the moment. Maybe it'd be a good idea if we could get and talk. She said, I could definitely do with someone to help. I think she has a history of this again. You know, when you talk to these people, not very happy with their childhoods, and very perceptive of her. I must check my Facebook to see if I actually put anything on there. Or maybe it's the fact that what I'm putting on there at the moment isn't all jolly and upbeat. So I must check that. What I'm going to say, and I should have introduced it as this, you reach out. You reach out. Put it on Facebook. I'll put in cryptic messages about you being depressed, don't do any good. So you get the little message, DM me, babe, you okay, babe? What's the matter? That's not doing you any good. What you need to do, and what you should do, is you reach out. You reach out to people. You reach out to family. You reach out to friends. And you'll be amazed at how understanding they are, non-judgmental, if you choose the right people. Don't be embarrassed about it. That was my biggest thing is, hey, I'm Steve Makepeace, I'm this guy, you know, I'm always happy-go-lucky. Generally I am, but not at the moment. And I think because I do suppress it and cover it up, it probably makes it a little bit worse. But now, at the age of 62, I'm going back through the self-exploration and digging a little bit deeper. It's quite interesting anyway. I don't believe it's too late for me to change these patterns, as long as I know where they've come from. But I actually, on a regular basis, do something to create new habits, to get rid of the old habits, the old bad habits. And they're not awful, they're not terrible, but ultimately they affect me and they affect other people, and therefore relationships are affected. Whether I can actually resurrect any of those relationships, I don't know. I want to try. It's not a case of, you know, my name is Earl. One in particular which I need to, I dearly love to, is my daughter. And we have fallen out, and Lindsay pointed out to me for the first time what it must be like for a daughter to have a father like me. In my mind, I'm not bad, I've never been awful, I've never been horrible to her, I've always done my best. And it's not a case of your best isn't good enough, it's what you were doing, not your effort, it's what you were doing wasn't right, because you didn't understand a young woman. And Lindsay very beautifully explained that to me in a non-judgmental way that didn't make me feel bad, that I suddenly realised, yes, and I must somehow sit down with my daughter and tell her this. I avoid it because it's very, very, very emotional, and again I have that thing that I don't want to break down and cry. I don't know why, because it's lovely when you do it. It really is. And on the other side of it as well, that still there in the back of my mind, it's still very fresh. I want to get back with Lindsay. She won't take me back at the moment, and I won't go back, even though I stirred the hornet's nest the weekend against my better knowledge. I went round there and I did it. I stopped short of begging, and if I was going to do that, I should have done it right there and then to work it out. But what I did after that was probably the best thing. Absolutely no contact. And I did. I went around, stirred the hornet's nest, and actually knowing, to be told there's no chance of getting back, a glimmer. There was a glimmer. But the truth is, why would she take me back? Because I was still the man that she didn't want to be with. I was a man before that, with a slow decline, caused it. Now, the self-examination is now again revealing things about my character which I haven't looked at, I haven't denied, and they needed looking at because they are massive. One of them, and I've realised this, I don't think it was that bad, but it is a porn addiction, an addiction to porn. And that all ties in with a minor Oedipus complex from as a child, with the TERPS procedure for my prostate, which really, really did subconsciously fuck me up. It really has done. And although we put a spin on it, Lindsay was absolutely amazing with it, really, and understanding. But deep down in a man's psyche, it affects you. It does, because to be crude, you still wanted to be able to put a bucket load of spunk on her tits, or let her just choke when she swallows, or, you know, just, and I couldn't do that. I mean, that's a very crude way of putting it, but ejaculate. And slowly, my libido went. I didn't realise at the time that was a possible side effect of the procedure. I found out afterwards. Oh, you can still have sex, you can still have an erection. Well, yeah. Oh, that was lucky. Why? Oh, well, you know, very often that goes. Fuck you, mister. So I was quite lucky in that, but you get, you call it retrograde ejaculation or dry orgasm. Oh, one, you know, this thing. For one reason or another, you don't. And that is not good. And slowly, and possibly the whole porn it ties in, you become desensitised to it. And as much as I loved and adored Lindsay, and you know, she's very fit, lovely body, for her to know that I was watching porn, which for her is young, pretty, fit girls, and they all were. Yeah, that was my thing. Nothing weird. It's not nice. It's not devastating. It doesn't make her feel good at all. But what was happening though was I'd become desensitised to it. Long time ago, pictures don't arouse me at all, and even all the videos. And I've caught it just in time, because then what you do, you look for material that does. And that's when you start getting into the kinkier, the weirder stuff, you know. Maybe, let's not, two words here, younger and younger girls, or, you know, just scat, you know, bondage, anything which is just beyond normal, loving, wonderful sex. I've got to address that. I have addressed it. I've destroyed the collection of films which I had on my hard drive. Don't get me wrong, all really nice, well filmed, 4K stuff, great, you know, a lot of anal in there, DPs, yeah, but nothing illegal, all quite straight, a few lesbian bits and pieces there. But there's the honest thing, they'd stopped doing it for me. Even I had a couple of favourite clips, and I remember watching them, and every time I watched them it was like, oh wow, nothing. So, and I've done it a few times over the years, because I've realised in a relationship it's not good. It's not good. So that's all gone. Everything, pictures, videos, you know, saved sites on my phone or whatever, Pornhub, Xvideos, Xhamster, all gone. Now, I do know that they are available. They are available, and you know, if I wanted to, they would be available on my TV. But I'm determined. I am determined to move away from that and get back to what people would call normal. To build up, you know, whether it would be, who knows. I do really want that relationship. I want to be, when I'm with a woman, to kiss her, to be aroused. 'Cause to me that was always one of the most erotic things, that kiss. Yeah, and that has eroded my confidence massively. Being overweight doesn't help. So despite the good intentions of your partner saying, oh, I don't mind, you know, I understand, they may understand, but if you ask them to be completely and utterly honest, would they prefer you to be slimmer, fitter, healthier? Yes, they would. Would they like you to be more attentive to them? Possibly even for them to have to say to you, I don't want sex tonight. Without you being annoyed, you made me think, oh, thank goodness for that. But it makes them feel like a woman. It makes them feel wanted. It makes them attractive, feel attractive. And that's where I need to be. That's where I want to be. And I know I'm going to get there. This morning I did my first meditation. It was interrupted. I had a phone call which I had to take. Not a problem, but I managed to get in 10 minutes, I suppose. It wasn't full on, but it was a start. I can do another 10. I have 2 tracks which I listen to and go back years. So they're a very good memory, like muscle memory, you know, it resonates with me and it brings a lot back. So that's what I used to do, the same track. So I'm going to use those again tonight. I used to use one in the morning, one at night. We're going to do that. I'm going to continue taking the pills. I would absolutely love to be able to go out and do exercise to help with the weight loss. There's a lot to do, a lot of work, and it all starts here with me, with encouragement, and have goals, plans. That is to be the man I was, the man who I have been, to get myself fit, healthy, lose that weight. My knee's awful at the moment. It doesn't help. I'm carrying around 5 stone more than I should be. So that's that. The ADD. The pills are working marvellously, and unfortunately, because everything's gone on, I took a day off. I worked today. So with the meditation, that helps me get focused and plan things, put things in order to make things easier for me to do. I'm going to be doing that. But the whole life thing, get my sleep cycle back, breathing, drinking the water, get myself fit and healthy, have a healthy mind, to continue with the self-examination, the exploration, and to see how I can continually improve myself. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, meditation, when I really did get into that, it was a truly magical time for me. I couldn't believe that it was me. It was as if though somebody had got hold of me and put all this new program into me, talking software now, bosh, and it was new, upgraded, and bam, I could do it. You know, it was like amazing. I had time on my hands. I was going around the gym, training 3, 4, 5 nights a week, walking home, had a meal cooked, maybe a glass of red wine, but I read. All my paperwork was done. Instead of getting to work the next morning, oh shit, I've got to do this, or leaving it to the end of the work, or end of the, end of the week, and you've forgotten so much. This was done. It was done immediately. I used to get up in the mornings. I had an hour before I had to go to work because I was sleeping well. I was up early, and I didn't have to do any paperwork. I was on form.